Welcome to the channel. Today I wanted to do something different. I am trying to get more comfortable in front of the camera. I realized that this might be the worst angle if the phone stays for me to make a driving vlog, but just gonna cut to the chase. Today was very busy for me. And welcome to Psychology of Hustle. This is a series where I try to impart some life advice to you guys and try to help you out. I'm currently 28 years old. I work at one of the biggest finance firms in the world, and I just have a lot of advice to share and give you guys, no matter how old you are. I just filmed a Psychology of Hustle video. Now I'm gonna go do some editing. It is hot out here, damn. But I think I got some good footage. Only thing is my camera died like halfway through, so I need to charge this. But it's beautiful out here, and if I need to, I will shoot with my phone. But the video was essentially titled, "If you're struggling in life, watch this." And it was a story about the time where I basically crashed out of college with a 2-something GPA, and how I worked on myself till I got an internship at MIT. Currently between jobs, I got a job at the rival firm of my previous company, and it's a very big company. So technically I'm on vacation right now. It's my 2 weeks notice. And came home to Virginia, to visit my family, and it's beautiful. It is so beautiful. I could be vacationing anywhere in the world, but I love being in Virginia because it's so different from Chicago. Really puts in perspective how peaceful life can be. Not that I want to live here my whole life, but coming here every few months is really a cool experience. And the rest of the day, I'm just gonna try to make a few more videos, maybe on my cell phone, get some more footage for this Psychology of a Hustle idea that I have, where I'm inspired by Uncle Rami. It's a YouTube channel, and I really like his type of videos. I'm also gonna train later today, so might film some of that. So it's gonna be good. Just look how beautiful it is, man. Like, I have so much gratitude to be able to just drive and make videos and like just chill out in this East Coast summer. Like, I'm just driving and it just feels amazing, man. Like, I'm away from the city. Don't get me wrong, I love living in a city, but this is supremely cool. Living a life of design rather than one chosen by society. This is a concept I grappled with extensively last year. Essentially what happened was I went through a life change. In the year 2023, during the summer, I broke up with a long distance girlfriend. I broke my back, and my grandma passed away around the same time. So the summer of 2023 was the worst of my life. But I eventually found my sense of purpose. I began to read and educate myself on Stoicism, and I set some new goals for myself. And one of these new goals was to get into the #1 business school in the world. Luckily, at the time, I lived in the city where the #1 business school was just 10 minutes away from me. So things were falling in place. The problem was that I needed to get my materials, my application materials, I needed to get myself on par to be at the same level as some of the brightest minds in the world. And I began on this quest. I went and talked to the admissions office. I told them my situation. I told them where I went to undergrad. And luckily, I have really good work experience. I work at one of the best companies in the world, one of the best finance companies, one of the best banks in the world. And they could not look past this. Even though my grades were not optimal, they decided to give me a shot. But they told me that I have to apply to a bridge program. And not only this, I had to take a bunch of business courses on my own dime and make sure that I am proficient in the basics to be ready for business school. So I embarked on my journey. I remember during the fall, I would go to work, I would come back, I would make YouTube videos, and I would still find time to do my courses. I was taking courses in economics, finance, and I would really grind and try to make my dreams come true. All I really wanted was to walk the halls of the best business school in the world. I remember it was New Year's, and I was visiting a friend in New York, and I remember taking the train from New Jersey to New York, visiting my friend. But even though I was dead tired from the train journey, I would take myself to a Starbucks and I would make sure I would get my courses and my coursework done on time. When I went back home to visit my parents, I would make sure I had enough time to lock myself in a library and get an A in the courses that I was taking. I was taking this seriously. And this is what society tells you to do. The path forward has to be by getting yourself to take more degrees, getting yourself to get more education, doing the best possible by societal standards. And that's what society tells you to do, right? Even though I had spent about $8,000 to $10,000 of my own dime, and with my company's help, on business courses just to get into a bridge program, which would later get me into the #1 business school, I went forward with this. I was living the life society told me to live because I felt inadequate in my life. Even though I was on track to be one of the youngest vice presidents in the best finance company in the world, I was doing good by societal standards. Luckily, I read one book. I read the book The Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco. I was put on this by my mentor Hamza in his program, the Adana School. And what this book tells you is there are 3 paths to life. There's the sidewalk, where essentially you act like you're rich and you show the world that you have clout, but in reality, if you meet with an accident or something happens which needs a lot of finances, you are completely broke. You're back to square one. That is what the sidewalk is. The slow lane is what I was following. Most people around me were following the slow lane. The slow lane is essentially get a good 9 to 5. Get your finances in order. Pinch your pennies. Make sure you don't spend too much. Budget effectively. Make sure you invest in the wealth accelerators. Make sure that you are saving for your future. And these are all good things. But this is what the mediocre people do. This is what middle class people have been conditioned to do. And they are satisfied with this. There's nothing wrong doing these things, but aiming for more. But if you do these things and you're satisfied and you think $150,000 business degree is going to elevate your life, then you belong in the slow lane. Don't get me wrong. If I were to really put all my sense of purpose into this venture or this endeavor, I could probably put together the $150,000 in the next 10 years. I would be in debt. I wouldn't be able to pursue my YouTube dreams or my entrepreneurial career or dreams any way different from what society tells us. But I would be able to do it. There's a few things that changed my mind and taught me how to pursue my passions rather than conforming to a life chosen by society. The first thing that happened, eventually over the winter, I completed all my courses. I got A's in business school classes at the master MBA level, having never taken business at an undergrad level. I was proud of myself. I had put in the work. I had balanced a social life, a family life, a full-time, intense 9-to-5 job. I had begun my YouTube journey and I had just started to get a few subscribers. Not only that, I had also balanced my business work and I was networking like crazy. I was going to virtual happy hours. I was going to happy hours. I was making an impression with the admissions committee. I was telling them about my grand dreams and my personal stoic code and my attachment and my response to stoicism as a philosophy. And let me tell you, they responded to this. They thought that I had potential to become one of the class toppers in one of the best MBA programs in the world. But what stopped me from pursuing this endeavor if everything was going so well? First thing I noticed was that I was gonna be in debt. I was gonna be limited at every point in life with the decisions I wanted to make. If I wanted to buy a new mic at that point for my YouTube journey, I thought that I was limited. I didn't want to spend money. If I wanted to buy a new camera, I couldn't do that. If I wanted to go on a trip to Los Angeles and meet other content creators, I could not do that because in my mind, I had mentally committed $150,000 to this business degree, and I had mentally committed the next 3 years of my life to evening classes after work and pursuing the classes. And to be honest, I worked very hard in my early 20s to have the career I have now. I was unemployed for 6 months in Seattle, but I grinded and I got 2 job offers from 2 of the best companies in the world. So I was in a position where I did not need this MBA. But the real reason I was doing this is because I felt a societal pull to do this degree. If I am a high achiever, I felt the pull to be like the other Asian, American, brown people. I felt the need to even justify to my ex-girlfriend or whatever that, hey, I can do this. I can get into a business school. I can get into the best business school in the world. And this is what was driving me, or my friends, you know. When I told people I was taking classes at this school, they would like look at me in admiration because by societal standards, I was approaching the peak, right? But if I did that, I would kill my own dream. I would live a life of servitude to society. And one thing that convinced me not to do this was reading The Millionaire Fastlane. And my father, he went to this university called IIT, Indian Institute of Technology. He was one of the brightest minds in India. He has a mechanical engineering degree. He has a PhD, and he's a lawyer. He has a Juris Doctor from an American law school. He's the smartest man I know. And what I did was I took the book, The Millionaire Fastlane, and I gave it to my father. And I told him to read it, and I told him to give me some counsel as to what my path forward should be. Meanwhile, I focused my energies on my YouTube channel. I grew this channel from 0 subscribers to 100 subscribers, from 100 subscribers to 500 subscribers, from 500 subscribers to 1,000 subscribers, from 1,000 subscribers to 10,000 subscribers, from 10,000 subscribers to 50,000 subscribers. And some of the people who've had my back, Akash, you're one of them, and my friends, in my apartment community, you guys have seen this journey. And that's when I realized, yes, I'm not at the level that I am with YouTube as well. I'm not monetized. I don't have the 1,000 true fans. I don't have my product, but I am onto something that I love. I'm designing a customized life for myself. And when I told people this at work and everything, some of them were like, are you stupid, bro? Like, you're gonna do YouTube instead of fucking the #1 business school in the world? And I was like, yeah, bro. Like, I ain't got shit to prove to you, dog. Like, I got to where I am by myself. I was living on the floor in Seattle, in a dusty floor, and I gave up my software engineering job to go and pursue a better life. And I was living on the floor. I was living in the house of someone. I was living in a tiny bedroom. I didn't even have a desk. And I pulled myself out of that to get a job at one of the best companies in the world. So you ain't got to tell me shit about what I got to do with my education journey. And it wasn't that aggressive, obviously. I was kind of thinking that more to myself. But I wasn't convinced, Anytime you go against the currents of society, you are not going to be convinced. You're going to be like, am I doing the right thing? As you can see behind me, that is my favorite movie, Limitless. And it shows how the dude, he takes control of his life. He starts investing in stocks. He starts living a life that he chose. And that is the crux of Millionaire Fastlane and the crux of success. You need to pick a life that you choose. You need to customize a life. And that will lead to not only happiness, but also success. And this is firmly in line with Stoicism and the Stoic Code. As long as you have a personal code, physical fitness, macro tracking, habit tracking, Stoic journaling, etc., building a community, becoming a community leader, having the Stoic virtues. I had built the Stoic Code over the last year, and this gave me enough confidence that I can swim against the currents of society. I believed in myself. And you know what happened? My dad, who is this polymath, he has 3 degrees. He read the book and he's like, how do you feel in those classes? I was like, I'm not learning much, yo. Like, one class, I took this economics class. I started my bridge program because I got my A's in my prereq courses. The first class, this like Harry Potter looking dude, he's like all fancy and shit. He comes and he talks about the demand curve. In the next class, he talks about the supply curve and the supply line. And then it was just moving really slow. And people had told me, this is the #1 business school. You're going to network and shit. Like, you're going to fucking network, bro. Like, you're going to network, bro. But I went to class and I was taking evening classes. Right after class, everyone would just call their Ubers and go home. And I'd go to the coffee lounge and I'd go and like talk to the people, and they're like, bro, I really want to get into this company, bro, and like I want to like kiss ass, bro. And like I'm like, dude, I work in that company. Like, it's pretty chill, dude. You don't need to kiss ass. Like, it's chill. It doesn't move as fast as you think. He's like, oh, how did you get in that company, bro? Like, I want to do this degree, bro. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, they started to piss me off, and apologies for my language, but that's how I was feeling at the time. I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I committing $150,000 just so some people can be like, oh, you go to this university? Cool. And like, when I went to family parties, aunties would be like, oh beta, you go to this university? Cool. And I'm like, yo, I don't even need this. And yes, like a business degree would propel my career if I didn't do anything else. But at work, I have a great relationship with my boss. I'm fucking executing and I'm on top of stuff. So I didn't need it. And that's when I made the decision. After the first semester, I had the option of either pursuing 3 more classes in this bridge program, and then finally enrolling in the full-time program, or just following my own path, devising or customizing my life where I had enough time to really be successful at my day job, pursue YouTube, self-publish my own book, become a podcaster, become a community leader. I would host pre-games every week. I would make sure that I'm making friends. I would make sure that people would come to me and I could be their therapist with anything. I chose this life, and let me tell you, after 6 months in 2024 at work, things are going amazing. In my content business, the YouTube has picked up. I'm learning a lot about business. The $1 Million Weekend, you can see behind there. I've learned a lot from books and actually trying to build a business. It's not been all smooth sailing. I tried to start a YouTube agency, and I got a client, a small to medium business. I was really excited about this, but the next week they came and told me, hey, like, our business, we're meeting losses right now, so we're not going to go through. So I met failure, but it's been a beautiful journey. I got to travel, and I am living a life customized by my own design, and I'm not living a life customized by society. And yes, like, I don't have the validation of like, oh, like, my ex-girlfriend's gonna see my LinkedIn and like be like, oh fuck, what is he doing? But who cares? I dealt with my samskaras in a healthy way. I built myself up physically, mentally, and through my community. And I'm pursuing something I love. There's a reason I just finished my meetings and I'm going to office right now. It is 8 a.m. in the morning and I'm making a YouTube video. It's because I'm passionate about it. It's because I know that that's my sense of purpose. And I think you should consider swimming against the currents of society and living a life that you design. Thank you for watching, and see you at the top.